Hello guys, welcome to day 7 and to yet another session on mastering your ABAP, REST API, XML parsing, JSON handling and dynamic ABAP programming. So on the last class, as we had started discussing about for iteration expressions rather than using loop, and we saw quite a few cases where, like example, if you want to pass data for a particular single column from one internal table and build up another internal table, or if you want to use two internal tables or more than two internal tables as to how build up a final internal table based on the data that you need. And also we were just about to create a complex case wherever, like whatever we have learnt about till now, example like inline declaration, COND operator, value for table expression. So we had just created a scenario and we will proceed with that on that note. Okay, so just let me quickly ask, so I hope any doubts with whatever we had covered yesterday. And a quick question, did you all work on the assignment 3? Did you all get a chance to work on assignment 3? Ankit, actually assignment 3 was sent, maybe I'm not sure, but I got the update from the team. So can any one of you, okay, so you just got it today. Okay, so I think, okay, Loganathan says tomorrow morning only we got. So can we have that discussion tomorrow? Okay then, so tomorrow we'll have that discussion. Not an issue, let's proceed further. Okay, so we had left at this place, so just let me drag it up a bit. So what we had done is, this is our LT customers internal table which is having these 4 records. So and what we had tried is, so we wanted to build a final internal table which is having customer number, root value and current date. And what we need is based on this data from LT customers. So we need the customer number and your root value. So root value basically for this particular root, whatever is the root value coming from your LT_RC internal table and the current date. Okay, so what we were doing is we were looping at this internal table LT customers, and then we were trying to further build up another internal table, so which will have this data. And the thing that we had incorporated is, basically what I have done is LT customers, I have copied to LT customers 1 just for showing that in case if this data which you are using for the value expression, as in the read table iteration here, which you are checking, in case if you do not want to check from this table, suppose it is some different table, so you can use a concept of the table chain expression here and read the data, or directly also you can check it out here. And then we were trying to build the internal table with the help of the for expression based on whichever root it is matching from this LS customer root, and we are getting the data from LTRC. And the other condition was if it is not C001 or C002, for the other conditions what we were checking where for the root is equals to R2. Now a quick question to all of you. I'll just unmute you all. Will I get any output here?
Action. I got a short dump actually running the last time.
Oh, okay. So, any one of you, so obviously I think any one of you would have tried this code, right? And you got a short dump, right?
Yeah, because it's a sorted table, so might be the key is unique or not.
So the what is the rectification that we need to do? So example, just let me show you in case if anyone is not done. So basically what will happen is if I execute the same, so now a short dump comes, a row already exists with this key. So if I am iterating between LT customers, right? So if the same records come, I have given with a unique key customer number, but suppose if the customer number matches during iteration while building up this internal table, so what happens? So what is the rectification that I need to do? Can anyone tell me? What if
we can add a route value, current date, or anything to that.
Or in case if I do not do any changes to data, I just do a manipulation with the declaration. Can I do that? Can I make it a non-unique key?
Yeah, you can do that. Then you will get the duplicate keys too.
Yes. So now let me comment this out.
But Kabir, last time you're saying how how to debug within the loop.
That's why I told you, if you are in SAP GUI, you can use step debugger, but we were not sure in ADT if that function is supported. So someone had asked me and I had told to explore. So did anyone try?
But you can do from loop to within the loop, right? But the data comes at one step, isn't it?
So logically, example, can you debug a select query? No, right? So
No.
the data will come. Similarly here also, this iteration, this condition hash, you can understand like what condition is happening. So once happens, that internal table gets built up. So you will be able to see that line coming, right? But in case if a dump comes, that means during that iteration, some issue with the data, right?
True.
If particularly so example, what you can do is, suppose for a particular row of record, you are getting some dump. So if you delete that line of data from the internal table and if it goes ahead, that means for that data which you have tried to put into your internal table, for that you are getting dump. So you can try to sort that out in that way, like, okay, this is the data for which the logic you have written is not getting incorporated, and you can try to remove that data and move ahead. And in case if that data for which you are getting a dump, then you can accordingly twist your logic to incorporate the same.
Okay. Got it. Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, so let me show the output now. So if you see the output here, this is the output, and why it was giving a dump, because when we had given unique customer number, this two matches. For this, it was saying a row already exists, and then you get the final output of the same. Is this clear, guys? Like why I did a non-unique key? Okay, thank you. Okay, so now let me show you one more thing. After this, let's proceed ahead. So basically, there is also a scenario where you are using a for expression. You can use the concept of index into which actually automatically populates the index value. So let's go further. So usage of index into index where along with for. So till now what all did we see? So for iteration expressions, so we basically first saw for with a where condition, right? And we also saw where we basically clubbed with for. Here if we go ahead, so we saw, one second, yeah. So we saw for with a where condition, then we saw for with multiple internal tables. Now let's see uses of index into along with for. Okay, so suppose let me pull some data from select from scar example. Let's pull up fields, then your char id comma char name into table @ data, and suppose char underscore tab, and done. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is, so now I will be creating my local structure where I will be pulling in the structure based on this internal table, and I will add one more component called serial number. Okay. So how do I do? Let me give types, and then not begin off. So I'll give struct1 like type struct1 like line of char underscore tab, then begin of what ls underscore char, sorry, I'll give types begin of ty underscore char, and then serial number type I, then include, sorry, I need to put a full stop here, period, include type, and what is the type? Include the type struct1, and then after that types and end of. End of ty underscore char, and finally I'll build an internal table tt underscore, sorry, table type standard table of ty underscore char with empty key. Is this declaration clear, guys, or any doubts? What I have done here, is this clear? From line number 544 to 559, what we are trying to do, is this clear? So we are basically whatever field names that you have selected from this and pulled into this internal table, the same line type I have tried to create a structure. So this is structure like line of here. Then we are basically creating our own line type. So here the component is serial number, and then I have included these two components, right? And then end of, and then referring a table type which is referring to this line type. Is it clear? Now my question is, what if instead of types I had given data structure1 like line of char underscore tab? So what is the changes that will come here? Can anyone tell me? I'll unmute. Can you repeat the question, Kabir? Start writing the code like this: data struct1 like line of char underscore tab. From line number 545 to line number 547, where do you expect the changes to come? Can anyone tell me? No one.
Kabir, I think line number 544, struct1 like line of cannot be included in the data statement because that will be type declaration. Is it right?
So you are telling that this one you cannot use of here?
Yes.
So see, type struct1, in case of this, if I write struct1, can I use here this, can I write like this, types with type?
Yes. Okay.
It will, okay, because if you see here, I'm not using data. So example, I'll revert it back. And suppose instead of this, now if I write data type char underscore tab, okay, but if I do here, the thing is that into this, can you see here, this is inline declaration. What is it saying? Type char underscore tab is unknown.
Explicitly we have to define before.
Right.
Not even.
So now if I use, instead of type, if I use like line of, can you see this error is not coming? Because though I am declaring it at the go with the help of inline declaration. See, again one more concept with respect to inline declaration. I have declared it with the help of inline declaration, right? This data is going on the go at the time while I'm trying to fetch the data from the database with the escape host sequence character. I'm getting on the data, and this is declared inline declaration, right? So, but if I use here type, this will not allow because it will not be able to understand this. But if you use like line of, whether data or whether types of, it works out. Now the thing that I was asking was, so Ankit, now you got your answer, right? Like you were telling, like line is not used now, right? Now my next question was, instead of types, now I have written data. So now that you are getting an error here, right? So how do I handle this with this format in case of line number 544? If I do not use types, if I use data, what is the change that I need to do? So suppose, can I make a change here like this? Then I'll write types, begin of, serial number include. Now here this is the structure, right? So instead of include type, you need to write include structure struct1 and then types end of ty_char and then done. Guys, are you understanding the difference of both? Either you go with this approach or you go with this approach. Just that if you use data, include structure. If you use types, include type. Yes, you can use SN because during the compilation it understands that this. So you would have seen here also, we did one scenario, maybe you can refer to one of the days session, where we have declared that internal table. Where? Can you see here? See line number 532. Inline declaration. I am doing it on the go. So suppose if loop at LT customers, if there is no data, does it throw you any error? No, right? And I'm appending this to this, right? So suppose if there was line number 531 only fails. So will this throw you any error? No, right? You have used inline declaration here. It will not get executed, but it will not throw you any error. Okay. So now TT underscore char will have only one field. Why JS? Why TT underscore char will have only one field, guys? It will not have one field. Either if you do using approach 1, it will have 3 fields: serial number, char ID, char name. Serial number, char ID, char name. See, this is the main 554 to 557. Begin of your local type, as in the local line type, and I am giving serial number including the components from here as well. Here also, begin of local line type, I am including the components from here as well. So it will not have a single component and a table line. Getting my point? JS. Okay, so now let's move ahead. So now what I want to do is, so I basically want to pull data from this char underscore tab internal table and directly populate the index values. Okay. So what I will do is data, okay, so value operator TT underscore char, open braces, close braces, done. And now I'll use a for expression WA underscore char in char underscore tab, right? Now index into, now here also come as a kind of an auxiliary variable which you have done. You can give anything. So index into IDX, this does not need to be declared earlier. Now I'll give the component name, so serial number, right? This serial number I'll directly map with this IDX and I will put it here. Done. Now what is the next component? Char ID and char name, right? So char ID, WA underscore char, and then your char ID and char name wa underscore done. So guys, what should be the output? So if I use this, what should be the output? Can anyone tell me? What do you think will be the output? So guys, any clue what should be the output? So let me show you the output. I'll close this. So this is the output. Automatically the index values of each and every row is being added as a serial number. So if you see here, I did not declare this. I did not declare this. If you want to write, you can write it like this also. If you want to write it like this, then replace like with this. It's up to you, whatever you want to write. This you do not need to declare it. This will be declared on the go. Implicitly this will be declared while you are using this index into, and the same will be assigned the value for each respective row position. Now let me add a twist. What if I add a where condition here? What if I add a where condition here? Where, and then char id equals to, suppose example, let me do LH. So now what will happen? Can anyone tell me the output now? Guys, can you tell me what will happen now? So someone says dump, someone says output will come. So basically what will happen is, can you see the output? By the way, I use an ABAP console basically. Can you see the output? Serial number 10, char ID LH Lufthansa. So to show you this, what I'll do is, first of all, so why 10 came, did you understand? Because it found out that particular record at index value 10. So example, when I had used this one and I had not given this where condition, okay, and for this particular, these two rows, if I comment this out and activate the same, and now if I show you, can you see at row number 10 you have LH? Row number 10 you have LH, right? Similarly, now if I comment these two and if I now uncomment these two and if I activate the same, now if I show you, since it was at row number 10, can you see this? So basically the index value which it matches there it will come. Now let me add one more twist. Now what I'll do is, suppose what should I do? Just let me tell. Okay, so let me add one more this thing called tt underscore char. Now tt underscore char 1, and this I'll make it as type standard table of struct 1. Okay, fine. Why it is throwing me an error? Why it is throwing me an error? Data. Guys, any clue why it is throwing me an error? Nope, with empty key is also not a workout error because I'm getting a different issue here. Any clue why I'm getting an error? Any clue why I'm getting an error? So what I'll do, I'll remove this from here and I will put it here. Type struct1 is unknown. So what I can do is tt underscore char. I can do like scar underscore tab, right? Yes or no? Yes, we can do this. Yes, because it was declared inline declaration, so I'll do like scar underscore tab. Right? So now what I was telling was now data, not data, lt underscore char. So lt underscore char has got only two components, no? Now my requirement is that I want to pull up only those lines from scar underscore tab, only those lines from whichever the condition matches. So suppose I had given this where char id equals to LH. So whenever this condition matches, I want to pull up the lines from this record wherever the condition matches the remaining of the records. Okay, so guys, did you understand when I gave it types why it was causing an issue? Because the struct1 I have created using like line of scar underscore tab, right? So when I was referring to struct1, basically it was giving me an error under types. So I had to use it here, and since this was like line of right, so directly I use lt underscore char like scar underscore tab. Okay, yeah, now coming back to this part, so value operator, value hash. So what I was telling is wherever I get char id equals to LH, I want to pull the below records. So what I can do is, so for, okay, now quick question, I have used w underscore scar here. Can I again use w underscore scar? Can I use again? Yes or no? Yep. So for w underscore scar and scar underscore tab, index into, now here I will use, so can I use the same variable again, lv underscore index or lv underscore idx? Can I use the same variable again? So lv underscore idx, now where condition, now where char id equals to, suppose LH, let me give the same, and now what I was telling, wherever it matches, I need the remaining lines, right? So can I write lines of scar underscore tab, okay, from index value, so from lv underscore idx. What will be the output for this one? Can anyone tell me? So now I'll make it lt underscore char. What will be the output for this one? Can anyone tell me? Anyone? What is the expected output for this one? So row 10 will come or row 10 will not come? That is my biggest question. Row 10 will come or row 10 will not come, or only row 10 will come? So let me show the output. So if I do an F9, can you see what will happen? So this was your last record, 10th record in that entire scar underscore tab, right? So can you see from that row onwards, what did I say at the start? When you use this combination, from that row onwards, where it matches this particular record, from that row to all the remaining rows. So lines of this from this. Guys, are you getting the point, Ankit? From this particular index value. So this particular index value, if you see here, so from this, that means this already came, right? LH Lufthansa already came here, right? So from this, all the lines of the internal table post this. So from this to all the remaining lines. Is it clear? So suppose if you get a requirement wherein you want to use the data post a matching condition, you want to use up all the data below that, you can clearly use this syntax in one go. Guys, up to this point, any queries? So Ankit, if you want only rows with LH, I just showed now. This already you have done earlier also. You just use a where condition. That's it. After some specific index, I did not understand your question. If you want only this condition, this is the condition. So after some specific index, if you want, if you do not specify, so if you give a where condition, if you add a statement like this, it will obviously pull lines of all the internal table from this particular index value. But if you want a row for only that record, then you need to use this. If you want to show only that record, it will pull up only that single record. Okay, so now after this, one more scenario. So you have already seen how to use let with value operator and all, right? Let with conditional operator, let with switch operator, let with value operator, as in let with constructor expressions. Similarly, you can use usage of let with your let operator along with for as well. So here also I can make use of let along with for. So what do I need to do is, so guys, can you tell me where will the let operator come? If I want to use let operator along with for, where will the let operator come? So suppose my requirement is that in this one only, I have serial number, char ID, char name, right? Suppose if I want to introduce one more thing called date, So suppose here include structure types end of ty underscore char. Now what I'll do is, before this one, I will include one more called current date. So suppose I pull it up here and I add one more component, okay? So suppose I add one more component, current date, and this I will make it as an char 10 because I will make use of embedded string expression to show the output. Okay, now what I'm telling is, now see here, earlier in the last class we had made use of a method, right? This one, local class date and local class implementation, and this method get the date value, right? We will use the same. So now the thing is that by using the same, I want to show up the date value and put the data into the corresponding component serial number, char ID, char name, and the date. Serial number, char ID, then your char name, and one more component which I have added is your current date, right? So what we will do is, now the date value which I am trying to put here, the current date, this current date we will be getting from your class method call. So what I'll do is, so data, so let me comment this part also. So now data lt underscore carriers, value operator, tt underscore char, okay. And now how do I start specifying? So guys, can you tell me how will I start? Will I use for expression start or let, or how How will I? Can anyone tell me? So it always will start with for. So for WA underscore scar in scar underscore tab. Okay. After that, index into LV underscore IDX. Then where condition, let me put some conditions here. So where I'll do char ID equals to AA or char ID equals to suppose A, after that AZ, or, and after that I'll put one more condition where char ID equals to AAZ and let it be LH only. Okay, now after this what we will to do? So now once you have given your where condition, now you can put your let condition. So let operator, let, so where equals to date. So this is your class, right, date, and from date I can put my value. So what I want to do, I want to use the embedded string expression. How will I use the same? Use the pipe operator, use the embedded string expression, then get the value here. So date, and let me call the method get, and let us get the value here. Now what I want to do, I want to print it in the form of date equals to environment. Okay, fine, done. Now after this, after let, what is the syntax? After let, what it should come? I need to use an in, right? In, and then all the component names. So serial number will go as it is, LV underscore okay, so it was LV underscore IDX. Okay, and after that serial number, post serial number, what it is? So it is char ID. So char ID equals to WA underscore char ID, and after that char name. So W underscore char name, and current underscore date. So what I can do, I can use directly where here, right? And done. I'll activate the code. So let me show the output now, and let's make it carriers. Okay. So what is the output that you can expect? So if I show an F8 now, so can you see the output coming? No, leave this part. Yeah, this one, LT underscore carriers. Can you see serial number for the respective matching records and the corresponding date, dd.mm.yyy format, right? This we had already understood, date equals to environment. So what you can do is, rather than calling this, rather than using this let operator here, if you comment this line, directly this part, what you are using here, if you do not want to use the same, you can use this also here. Directly you can call this also. So if I do an F9 now, you will get the same output. Guys, are you getting the point? If you want, you can use an auxiliary variable to make it simpler. Rather than calling the class and method multiple times, you can get this variable here and use it here. Or otherwise, you can directly call the class method and assign it as a part of the embedded string expression directly to the component here. Guys, is it clear how to use the let operator along with for? So Ankit, nothing. Console feature is basically whenever you execute example in ABAP class or something, no, So normally what happens, rather than showing the output multiple times, I can directly use the console feature here. So whatever I have kept on executing, can you see here? All the data that whatever I have kept on executing during the execution today, all the data you are able to see here. See, once again I executed all this data. You will, so it becomes easy rather than I was opening a separate screen, right? So I was referring to this and referring to this code. Got the point? This is just kind of your, like if you use in C, C++ and all, we have consoles and all. Similarly, you can use this here. F9, Ankit. So you can use F9 to execute your ABAP console. This is your view. This one. No. You do not need to execute it using F8 first. It's not like that. If you want to use directly your console, you can directly execute your F9. Okay, let's move ahead. Cool. So now, basically, you saw usage of index into IDX, usage of left operator along with for, right? Till now you did this. So when you are doing usage of index into index, basically this, as we talked about, this is also an auxiliary variable and is declared implicitly, and the type is of I. Remember that the type is I. Okay. And when you are using a let operator along with for, so you can use that also. The only thing which you need to remember is that this let operator, when you are using it along with for, so for work area or field symbol in your table, then after you specify whether you want to specify your where condition or not. So if I do it like this, so now this where condition, if you want to specify or not, this is optional. But after you have done the iteration of from your internal table, then if you want to use your index into, this is also optional, right? So these are the different variations. So if you want to use this or if you want to use this, if in case if you do not use both of them, then this let expression comes post this. And whenever you are using a let expression, remember you need to use an in word. And after in, then you specify your component names. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Guys, is it clear? That's why I broke it up into line by line so as to you can understand. Now can you see the visibility? See here, it goes like this. So this is optional, this is optional, this is optional. What is mandatory? This is mandatory, and the components assignment is mandatory. Understood, guys? Okay, now where were we? Yeah, now that you understood usage of for, using a table driven, right? Sometimes you may need to use a condition driven also. So you can use a for operator with the help of a condition also. How? So what I can do is, suppose I want to build an internal table where I want to show the name, okay, and I want to have the grades. So types begin of, suppose ty grades, name suppose 20, and I'll put one more thing here called grade type I, and end of ty underscore grades and tt underscore grades type standard table of ty underscore grades with empty key. Okay. Now what we'll do is data lt underscore grades And for this one, value operator tt underscore grades. So for I equals to 1, then I plus 1 until I becomes greater than 10, where I want name to be as student. Concatenate this with like student 1, student 2, student 3 and so on. So student 1 and grade equals to student 1 grade 1, student 2 grade 2, student 3 grade 3 and so on. Okay. So now let me activate the code, and so now lt underscore grades. So what will be the output be? So if you see the output, student 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Tell me one thing, if I don't give this, what will happen? If I don't give this, so I'll do it like this, I'll do it like this. So if I don't give this, what will happen? What will be the output now? If I don't give this, what will be the output now? So if I do an F9, the output will not change. It will be the same. But what if I do like this? What if I do like this? Will there be any change in the output now? Yes, there will be a change in the output. Can you see 1, 3, 5, 7, 9? So this basically gives you a condition. Like you want to have this incrementing value for I by what? Got the point? Now, instead of until, if I make it while, instead of until, if I make it while, so I'll remove this one line. So I comment this out, I make it while. Now while to get the same value, should I be greater than 10 or should I be less than 10? Will the condition change or not? Or will still the same condition prevail? Tell me. So now if I use a while, I need to make it less than. And now if I show you the output, can you see the same output comes? So either you can use an until or either you can use a while. But the only thing is that whatever condition you are using, if you are using until, till the time your I becomes greater than 10. And while I is less than 10, you keep on executing. So similarly, you need to handle the change in the condition. Now that I have showed you the output, let me make it only I plus 1. So Ravi, why I have used ampersand, ampersand? Basically again you asking me the same question. Remember concatenation. I am concatenating. So if you see my console, student 1, student 2, student 3, student 4, concatenating the same. So Ankit, your question is if I equals to 10 and until I becomes less than 0, right? Without where condition will it automatically decrease one count, right? So if you are telling that if I make it I as 10, right? And if I do not make until I less than 0, right? Is that your condition, Ankit? So one second. Yes, tell me. So until what should I do? Tell me. I want to make it until I becomes less than 0.
Yes.
Is this what you want?
Yes. Can you? Yes. So will it automatically decrease the counter by 1?
So now you tell me what will happen.
Like ideally it should, because it was when it was the otherwise case, it was adding it automatically.
What do you think? Will the output? So that's what I'm asking. What do you think? Will the output come? Yes or no, or what?
For me, it should go in infinite loop, but I don't know.
It will go into infinite loop.
Okay. It just includes.
Understood.
Yes. Okay.
Now the problem is that we gave it into an infinite. So why it will come into an infinite loop? Because
it will keep on
I
increasing.
equals to 10, right? Now until I becomes less than 0. So it will keep on executing till I becomes less than 0, right?
Right. No.
And what if I put a while condition? If I make it
same, it will be same.
While I becomes greater than 0, now what will happen? But
the condition will be same.
What do you think? Will the output will come? If I execute the ABAP console, it will not come. But now if then I minus 1, now what will happen? Can you tell me what will happen now? See, the output will come because it found out a way to automatically, so from 10, so 10 it found out a way like how it will reduce, right? So understood. So there are scenarios where it will run it. So once again I'll make it I plus 1, then I plus 1 until I becomes greater than 10. Okay. So now, now the famous thing is that my requirement is I basically want to add the summation of all these grades of all the students. I want to add the summation of all the grades of all the students. Earlier, what you used to do in the old conventional way? Yeah, Harish, right. If you want to go into an infinite loop. Earlier, if I want to do the summation for the students, what will you do? Loop at internal table into work area, at last, then sum, then data, then whatever variable, and end at, right? So we used to use the control break commands. Am I right? Yes or no? So won't we write like this? So loop at lt underscore grades into data ls underscore grades and loop, and now what we will do is at last, right, then sum, and then end at, and inside this won't I write data, suppose lv underscore sum equals to ls underscore grades, and can I write grade? Right? This is what you used to do, right? Yes or no? Tell me. So this was our old approach. Now if I do a write LV underscore sum, so my output is 55, right? And then this is my internal table, right? Now I don't want to do this, so instead of this, let me introduce a new operator called reduce operator. So what happens with this? Basically the reduce operator, you do not need to use this loop add internal table into work area, this control break processing commands to do this summation and all. So reduce basically helps you to directly use as a kind of constructor operator expression, okay, to do this summation kind of a concept. Like example, if you want to create a, using any kind of iteration expression, you want to create a get a result, so you can easily use this reduce operator. So suppose in a table you want to do through multiple iterations and get any kind of a summation value, or any conditional iteration and you want to get the summation value, so then this reduce operator comes very handy. Like how you have seen for other constructor expressions, for this reduce operator also you can either make use of a hash or a data type. So either, as I said, either you can make use of conditional iterations to reduce the sets of data objects to a single data object, or a table iteration or a table reduction to get a kind of a summary value for some particular value for which you are looking for. So if you see here, for the reduce operator, first let me implement. So if I want to implement the same using a reduce operator, what I can do is data LV underscore sum so data LV underscore sum. So reduce operator, what did I say? You can use either hash or a data type. So I want to derive the data for this data type for this LV sum. So since this is of type I, right? So what I'll do, type I. Now after the reduce operator, you need to initialize a variable which you will act as a counter in this case. So initialize I and type I. Or if I do not give anything, suppose for, let me do not give anything, for ls underscore grades in lt underscore grades, okay, then I will not give any where condition now. Next, and after that y equals to y plus ls underscore grades and grade. But you are getting an error here, right? So now give a type I, or suppose if I would have given initialize y equals to 0, this also you can do, because if I assign this equals to 0, this is of type I, right? So this will get assigned as type I. Now let me show you the output. So if I write the same LV underscore sum now and activate the same, can you see the output? 55. So now what you can do is club this piece of code. So perform some old way and 1 second, and perform some new way, form some old way, and end form, and form some new way and end form. Okay, so what you can do is when you are running this report, you can put it in a subroutine, okay, and check. What you can check is how much time this subroutine takes to call this subroutine, and how much time does this subroutine takes to execute, which I have already done. And you will find that when you are using a reduction operator, as soon as you start increasing your load, so suppose make this 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, 5,000, so on and so forth, you will see that the performance of this subroutine becomes more and more efficient. So we've already observed that with the usage of the reduce operator, your performance efficiency is optimized and is much more better as compared to using this conventional loopback and your control break processing commands. Getting the point, guys? So if you see here also, when we are done an analysis up to 50,000 records, the time reduction is almost around 50% when we are using reduce as compared to the old conventional way. Guys, getting the point? So you can try this out at home. What do? You keep on increasing the load and you see the deviation in the performance with respect to this and this. And you will understand that this is much more performance efficient as compared to this approach. Okay, now a quick question to all of you. So let me put a simple assignment question, very simple. So let me activate the code. What if I want you to show me an output? Okay, I want you to show me an output for the summation of the first 10 numbers from 1 to 10 in a single line. I want you to show me the output of the summation of first 10 numbers in a single line. Can you do that? I want you to sum everything from numbers 1 to 10 in a single line of code and show the output also in a single line. Can you do that? Yes, you can use group and sum using it's not about a single operator. As Loganathan, first you need to group the data, and this reduce you can club anywhere. As you have already seen one sample, right? This was one big sample where you have clubbed everything, whatever you understood. Today also we will see one thing, don't worry. We'll try to club a lot of things. We'll try to club reduce with other expressions. So yeah, coming back to my question. I want you to display the summation of the first 10 numbers in a single line. Is it possible? Yes or no? Tell me, at least tell me yes or no. No one. So how will I write the code? Can I write it like this? CL demo output, and then display data, okay, and here reduce operator. What I will reduce? Of type I init. So what it can do? init x equals to 0, then for suppose z equals to 1 until until z becomes greater than 10, and after that what? After that a next operator, then x equals to x plus z, right? Yes or no? Tell me. Am I right? But this z was already declared. Where was this z declared? So I cannot use it. Let me change this variable to make it as j and j and j. Okay. And for this one, I will use write a statement as summation of first 10 numbers. Okay. And now let me show you the output. Can you see this as 55? Or let me show you from this. Close. Can you see the output? Summation of first 10 numbers is 55. And did I write apart from a single, this is all a single piece of code, right? If you want, I can put it into a single line. But can you see in the same expression I have done everything? So is it achievable? Yes or no? Tell me. So you can ask this as an interview question to any candidate. Anyways, I was just playing around. What do you say? In case if you just are playing around with a candidate to see whether that person is applying his concepts and knowledge, you can play around. Right, guys? Yes, Ankit. So if you do not use init, example, see like here, I will put this line below, okay? And I'll put this line also below. So what happens if you do not use this init? If you comment this line, it will throw you an error. How will you do the summation? How it will understand that this is your counter variable which is helping to do the summation and assigning the value of this type to this value. Understood the point, Ankit? How will it understand? If you do not put in it, how will it understand this counter variable which is actually helping you to do the summation? And also, as you saw, if you do not give x equals to 0, you need to mandatorily give a type. If you do not give, see when I gave x equals to 0, it took the type as I, right? But if I do not give the type, it will throw you an error. To understand that, so you assign it with a 0 value if you are using type I, but in case if you are using a specific type, you need to ensure that you are giving this type keyword. Okay? Understood, Ankit, now? Okay. Should we have 2 minutes break? Guys, what do you say? So let's connect it around 8:43, 8:44. Okay? Guys, can we start? Ravi, where I am incrementing basically, sorry, the same point I just showed you here also. If this was optional, when I'm using I equals to 1 and until I becomes greater than 10, right? It will start incrementing. The only thing is that your condition should not run into an infinite loop. If it runs into an infinite loop, it is a problem. So if I do not specify then I plus 1, automatically the values will be incremented by 1. But if you want, you can add a condition also here. You feel free to, you can do that. So if you want, then j plus 1, you can do that. Understood? Okay, shall we move ahead, guys? So, and also quick thing, please do try this out, okay? Like it's just don't believe me that what I am telling is true. Please do try it out. Do the runtime analysis by using any analysis tool. Whether you want to use SAT or whether you want to use ABAP profiling, you can feel free to do so. But please do this one and get the hit list data access, okay? Okay, now let's go to our filter operator. So reduce operator was another constructor expression with what we saw. So remember, with reduce you can either achieve your table iterations or you can achieve your conditional iterations. So I'll just add that line here. So conditional iterations and excuse me, sorry. And your table iterations. Okay, now let's come to your filter operator. Okay, so basically your filter operator, as the name says, this will filter out something, right? So what it does is, so normally before we go to filter operator, first tell me one thing. Normally if you have an internal table, okay, you have an internal table and you want to retrieve a subset of data from that internal table, okay, so what will you do? Earlier you used to loop at internal table into work area using a where condition, and then that append that internal table to other internal table and build up the other internal table, right? That was another approach, right? Or you also saw using a for expression also, right? But in for expression, you are building an internal table where the internal table can have different components or the same components, because you have the flexibility to assign the individual components of that particular internal table, right? But in the filter, but if I want to filter it on a single value, or so that also you can use using a for and a where condition. But if I want to filter it using another internal table, in that condition, if I want to filter the data of an internal table based on another internal table, that was I was not able to achieve using for, right? Yes or no? Either it was filtering data from two internal tables, or building an internal table from two or more tables, or on a where condition, or the other combinations that we saw. But if I have internal table 1, I have internal table 2, I want to filter data in internal table 1 based on the data in internal table 2, was that I able to achieve the same from using for expression? Was I? No, right? What do you say, guys? No, right? So in that condition, your filter expression comes very handy. So this is also your constructor expression only. Filter operator is also like your constructor expression, but basically what happens here is the rows are taken from an existing internal table in accordance with the condition that you specify, and then the data will be inserted into the target table which you specify on the left hand side, right? This also has got two forms. One is your basic form and the other is your filter table form, which I just talked about a few seconds back. So here filter operator I am using on a basic form. Basically, if I want to filter some data on the basis of a condition which is created with single values, okay, and now other scenario where I want to filter data from an internal table. So based on, I'll say that as a filter table, okay. So I want to filter data based on a filter table. So let me make it a bit bold, underline, and here also let me make it a bit bold and underline. So now here also while using filter, all the, as you have seen for all the constructor expressions, you can use either a hash or you can specify a data type. Okay, so first now let's go to using the filter using the basic form. So let us first create a, what do you say, an internal table. So select from scar fields asterisk into table @data okay. Now the thing is that first let me create another internal table suppose a filter table. Okay, so when you want to filter the data, from your internal table using any condition. So suppose, first let us observe this one, using a filter table. So when you are filtering the data from an internal table using a filter table, that filter table should be either having a sorted or a hashed key, which is mandatory. Okay, it should have either a sorted or a hashed key. So let me create a LT filter type sorted table of char ID with unique key. I'll refer the unique key as the table line. And now LT underscore filter value hash, I'll build up this internal table. Okay, and I'll build this internal table with particularly 3 rows. First one will have AA, then your LH, and let me give any random value, US suppose, or whatever. Yups. Okay. So now what I want to do is, I want to basically filter using a filter table. Okay, so I want to filter data in this internal table using the filter table LT underscore filter. So let me create another internal table, LT underscore final 1. So I'll use the filter and then hash. So now filter hash, what I want to filter, LT scar, right? I want to filter LT scar, yes or no? So LT underscore scar, where do I want to filter this? LT underscore scar, filter in this filter table LT underscore filter, and wet condition where char ID equals to table underscore line, right? Yes or no? Okay, let me make it LT final 2. Okay. So filter hash, why I used hash? Because this is able to derive its type from this. If it was not able to derive, you can use a specifier data type here as well. Okay. Now let me comment this one. Let me comment all the CLDM output display so that it becomes easy. Yep, so almost all are commented, and yes, one more. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll first CLDemo output display LT underscore scar, and similarly I'll display LT underscore final 2. Okay. So guys, can you tell me what will be the output? Anyone? So let me activate the code first, and now, yeah. So this is your main scar data, right? So what did I filter with? AA, LH, UA. What should be my final data based on the filter? So can you see the final data? So I have just filtered the data in this internal table using the records in this table which was having only this records. Right? Yes or no? Now tell me one thing. What if I do not want this records and if I want the other records? You understood my question? So I'll use except in, comment this out, and let me show you the magic. All the records, those records are not there. Is LH there? Is AA there? Is UA there? Not there. Earlier, remember what you all used to do for this? Loop add where condition, passing to work area, append and all those and blah blah, right? Now you do not need to do that. You can directly use this. And even for this also, delete internal table where this not in, right? You used to delete, right? Wherever it will match from this, you used to delete, yes or no? Delete internal table, delete itab where condition equals to matching this. Remember, yes, right? Yes or no? Now you do not need to do that also. Use except in. Okay. Now the thing is that if you do not use a where condition, so without the where condition, how will it filter? If you do not use this where condition, so based on this filter table, how it will know which particular component to match here? You are getting my point. So here I am matching this char ID from this table line, right? Yes or no? So if I do not specify that, how will the system understand with which I am trying to match? There is a variant for that also, do not worry, we'll just come to it one by one. Hold on a minute. Now think that when I was filtering this, suppose if I create a scenario like this. So what I'll do is, 1 second, just let me think of. Okay, so what? Let us try like this. Let me comment this. Okay. So data LT underscore final to value operator. Sorry, not value. Filter operator hash. Okay. And now suppose if I do not give this internal table, so LT underscore char, okay, where condition, okay, char ID equals to AA. So guys, why am I getting an error? Sorry. Now tell me why am I getting an error on this? Can you see here? The filter operation requires a sorted or a hashed key. Can you see this? It requires a sorted or a hashed key. 1 second. F2 char ID char 3. Yeah, okay. First of all, when I asked you this, you did not answer me. So when I wrote a char ID equals to A, why I was getting a type compatibility issue? Can anyone tell me? So ABAP element information overview, shortcut F2, or you use @ char ID is char 3. This is how many? 2. I want to make it 3. That's why I gave an additional space, right? Now that issue is gone. Now you are seeing a filter here. The operation requires a key, sorted or a hashed key. I talked about this point, right? I talked about this point, yes or no? Prerequisite is, can you see here? Big prerequisite, right? It must have a sorted or a hashed key. I am not talking that the table should be sorted or a hashed. Please understand the difference. I'm not telling that you make the table as sorted or hashed as always. I am telling that the table should have a sorted or a hashed key. But in this scenario, do you have that? Are you having that? Yes or no? In this statement, do you see any? This is hash, right? Now LT final 2 trying to derive a type from LT scar. What is LT scar? LT scar is a normal table. Is it having a sorted or a hashed key? No, right? So now are you getting the error? Why are you encountering this error? And this is the beauty of Eclipse. It shows you everything. It is telling also that it requires a sorted or a hashed key, right? So how to get rid of this? Can anyone tell me how to get rid of this? How to rectify this error? Can anyone tell me? No one. Replace hash with type, but with what type? With what type? With what type? Have I used any types operator here? With what type I'll specify? What is the other way around? So yes. So can I declare LT underscore scar 1 type sorted table of what? Scar with unique key char ID, right? I can do like this. Now if I make LT underscore scar 1 equals to LT underscore scar, okay, and here I make it LT scar 1, will the error be gone? Gone. Now instead of sorted table of, can I make it hash table of? Can I make it? Now is the error gone? Gone. Guys, are you getting the point? Is it clear? Now let's see the basic form. You understood the filter table concept now, right? Now let's see the basic form. So for that, first let me pull some data. So let me comment this out. Yep. So types begin off, and what I'm going to do is ty underscore value, field 1 type I, field 2 type I, end of ty underscore value, and now I'll give it a so line number 633. You are telling that LT underscore scar wasn't a sorted or hash table. It worked out because I am using, see here, this is the, okay, tell me one thing. So up to this part, this was filtered using a filter table. Now what was this part? This was filter using a basic form, yes or no, using a where condition. So when I am using a basic form, I am trying to filter this, but this on the right hand side expression, if you are not using a filter table, this needs to be having a sorted or a hashed key. But in this condition, this filter table was having a sorted or a hashed key. Understood the point, guys? Okay, now let's come back. Okay, so now tt underscore value type sorted table of with unique key. I'll make both of them as unique, field 1 and field 2. Okay. Now let's put values. So TT values, sorry. And here I will create 3 records. So field 1 equals to 1, field 2 equals to 4, and I will use the same to create 2 more records. Here I'll make it 3 and 6, and here I'll make it 5 and 8. Okay. Now I want to filter this on the condition. I want to filter this LT values for only where field 1 equals to 5 and field 2 equals to 8. How do I do that? So LT underscore filter underscore values. Now here, since this is already defined as a sorted table of right, so filter, now you can use Italian hash, there is no issue here. And after filter, so LT underscore values where field 1 equals to 5 and field 2 equals to 8. What will be the output for the same? The output for the same will be, so let me just pull this and pull this and pull this. So I'll activate, let me show you the output. So 5 and 8, right? Now what if instead of and, can I write or? If I write or, where field 1 equals to 5 or field 2 equals to 6. So this or is not allowed. Only and operator is allowed. Or operator is not allowed. Second thing is that, so here I'll specify only your and operator is allowed and or operator is not allowed. Now second thing is, suppose this is your first key field, field 1, right? And then key field, field 2, right? What if I just write field 2, will it work? Yes or no, tell me. I have just written field 2. Can you see here an error coming? Field 1 of key primary key of table LT underscore values is not specified or is incomplete. The key must be specified in full. So if you have specified here the unique keys field 1 and field 2, you need to specify both. In case if this was not there, then this will work out. But you have specified a key field in this sequence here, then you need to follow the same, that you need to specify the first field. So if I specify field 1 equals to 5, suppose, okay, or whatever, suppose if I give 6, now do you see the error will not come. So in the sequence, if you specify only this also, then error will not come, but if you specify this, then error will come. And now let me show you the output. So if I do an F8 now, what will happen? Will an output come? No, no output will come. The dump will also not come, because it's just that it's not able to filter, that's it. So since it is not able to filter, if I am trying to select something on this, so I'll not get any output. So can you have the same field multiple times? How will you have the same field multiple times? So you cannot use or, okay, it will give you an error. And what you want to write? You want to write field 1 equals to, suppose let me write 3. Okay, So you want to use field 1 equals to 6 and field 1 equals to 3, right? So can you see? It is duplicate. It will not allow. You cannot use the same field more than once. It is overlapping. Yeah, you can use the other field, but you cannot use the same field. If you use the same field, it will give you an error that it will overlap or it is a duplicate. And the other problem is you cannot use OR. Understood? Understood the restriction, Prasad? Prasad, there is no workaround for OR.
Kabir, actually. Okay,
Yeah, tell me.
Ankit here. I want to ask, like, in the line number 633, you have mentioned the key name, table underscore line, right? So shouldn't it be shouldn't it be char ID, like some value?
No, why? I am referring it to a type of a single component. I am not referring it to a type of any work area. Can you see here? Okay,
yes,
just let me put a breakpoint for you. You will understand. If I do an F8 now, so this LT filter, can you see here? Okay, and if I do an F5, can you see table line?
Yes.
That is the reason why I used the same key, table line. So if you create this internal table type of a single component only, it will, because these are single rows. There is no other component. But yeah, if you create like this, then you will have multiple values. So let me do F5. So now LT values, if you see, can you see here? You understood the gap why I did that table line?
Yes.
Okay. So Prasad, see, the thing is that you cannot use OR, right? And if you are using AND, so when you want to use OR and filter something, so what did I say? Logically, this filter operator comes very handy when you want to filter from a filter table, or if you are using a basic form, depending on, so suppose if I want to use only a single combination, here for both the cases, just for showing, I have created both here, but there the biggest restriction is that you cannot use OR. So if you want to use OR, then you can obviously have your for expression also is there, right? You can use where condition the component, same component equals to this value or the same component equals to some other value. So then you can go with that also, Prasad. You can use your for iteration expression also. So multiple components in the field. So I did not understand your question. Whoever asked that question, if we have multiple components in the filter table, then can we use it in the where clause for multiple fields? So multiple components, as in I have created multiple components here. So I am not getting your point. So it depends on how you have specified. If you specify only this as a key field, you will be able to use that only. So example, if I remove this, it will throw me an error here. That component field 2 is only the primary key. And I have given field 1. Understood? So now here if I give field 1 equals to 5 and field 2 equals to 6. So now again I will get an error that this is not a primary key. So this has to come from this line number. Whatever you are specifying here, the same has to come here. Understood? Ankit, where I'm using table, I'm not using table line in 648. 648, I've created two keys here, field 1 and field 2. You can have multiple, if you create multiple keys, you need to specify here hurry point number 1, and accordingly you can use the same here. As simple as that. Whatever you specify here, you need accordingly. There are multiple forms of it. You need to see this, the combination of this, you can accordingly explore on this. If you want to create a single field, the same has to come here. If you create this and if you are using this, it will not work. So whatever you specify here, accordingly the combination needs to be played around here. Hello, Prasad, tell me.
Hi, Kabir.
Yep, tell me.
Yeah, my question was not on the basic where clause. Can you scroll a little bit up where you used the specific filter table? In that case, if I use more than one component and use in the filter table where I filter it for multiple columns, will that work?
Yep, you can do that. So suppose example, an internal table has got two components, okay, and then if you want to execute the same, so similarly here also, so in this it had got multiple components, so create more than one component here and then filter the data and then specify with respect to which particular column you are trying to filter.
And in that case, can I use or? For example, I'm using carrier
No.
ID and
No,
some other
no.
date or something like that.
No,
Will or
no.
works or always and?
Or will never work. That is
Where
the
also
restriction.
or will not work. Okay.
No. Or will not work whether you are using a filter table concept or you are using a basic form. Only and operator is allowed. So if you want to use or, then you need to go back to your for expression.
Kabir, actually, Ankit here. Actually, I want to know, like, in the line number 648, if you erase field 1 and field 2, and if you type table line there, so how
Why
will
will
be
you
the
use,
structure
no,
created?
why will a table line concept coming here? This I have created a work area based on two fields. Why will a table line come here?
Like if I want to
This is a
treat
complete different declaration. So
if
then
I
I
want to
need
use,
to clean this also. I am creating my local type here. I did not create any local type here. I directly created this on the basis of table of on this component.
right,
I've
but
used
actually,
data. Yeah,
if
tell
I
me.
want to use the complete row as the key, then how can I use that?
You want to complete, then you need to specify all the components with which you want to use to match. See here, example, if this had char ID and some other components, so where component 1 equals to component 1, so from this component to this component, so component 1 of this, okay, equals to component 1 of this, and component 2 of this equals to component 2 of this.
No, Kabir, I want to know in the declaration part. If I want to declare the complete row as a unique key, then how can I do it or do that?
You have to specify the fields here. There is no other way out. You need to handle that in the declaration. So example, okay. If you want to create, so example, okay, now let me tell you a scenario. What if this was not a sorted table of, example, if this was a standard table of, so standard table of this local type, line type, okay. Example, suppose if it is not unique, if it is non-unique, or if it is sorted key or whatever key, then you need to specify the component. So I'll show you one more scenario, now you'll understand. You need to specify your key fields here, which that's why I showed this. Whatever key fields you're specifying here, on the basis of this, then you can again use your filter condition. Then you need to build your key fields components here.
So Kabir, like,
understood, Ankit?
Can we create a filter table, sorter table with non-unique keys? In that case,
yes, I'll just show you now. I'll take a scenario where you can create with non-unique keys also. If your rows are repetitive, you can do that scenario also. So just let me show you a scenario now. So example, what I'll do is, so name and attendance. Okay. Types begin of TY data, name 20, and whether pass or fail, so status 1. Okay, and end of TY underscore data, and done. Now what I'll do is data. So what I'm going to do is I'm to basically create the internal table as LT underscore data, type standard table of TY underscore data. Okay, and here with non-unique key, non-unique, I'll make it as a sorted key, then key components. I'll put the components as status, because status I will repeat. Okay, and what I'll do, LT underscore data, value operator, value hash, and name equals to, suppose anything Suraj, status equals to P, and let me create a few more records. So I'll create 5 records. So after Suraj, let me put any name, suppose Virat, and it is P. Now let me make this as Rohit, and I'll make this as A, Sam, let me make this as P, and Shivani, let me make this as A. Okay, so this is my data. Now what I want to do is I want to filter the data from this. So if you see, these are repeated now, right? I want to filter my data on this on the basis where status equals to present. So now can you see here, this is a standard table of, this is not a sorted table of, but with non-unique sorted key, but the components I put at only a status, right? I made it as a non-unique key. So data LT underscore present, filter operator, filter hash. So and now what I'll filter LT underscore data. So if I write like this now, where status equals to P, right? Will this work? Can you see here what it is telling? The operation requires a key, sorted, or a hashed, right? So LT data, if I use this concept, I have not declared it as a sorted or a hash table, right? If I use this concept where I've used it as a non-unique sorted key, so in this it needs a bit of a twist. So here this is giving you an error, right? Can you see here? The operation requires a key. What you do here, now before this add a statement using key key. Okay, so this is the key. So let me make it using key fields better. And okay, now write like this and done. So now let me show you the output. So CLDM output display, and I'll make LT underscore present. So now let me activate filter, So now if I do F8, okay, I had not removed the breakpoint. And if I do an F8 now, can you see the output coming? So guys, you had queries, right? What if it is repeated and all? This is the approach to do that. Understood? Ankit and other people. So Prasad, so like you were asking and all, right? What if the data, and obviously this is quite a valid scenario, right? The data can come like this also. You need to twist it a bit. So this is also a basic form, because if you see here, I have not used any filter table. So the variations in the basic form, if this goes for a toss, if this kind of a data comes, this will go for a toss. So you handle it like this and use this concept using key. Now what if I want to get only the absent? What if I want to get only the absent? So if I write LT underscore absent filter hash LT data, now here if I do not use this except where status equals to P, so will I get an error? See here, I am getting an error. How to sort this out? How to sort this out? Tell me. So if I give again key underscore fields, but here, or where should I give this except? Here. If I give it here, and now if I write an LT underscore absent, so status present, status absent. Understood how to use except in that situation where you are using key? That except will come here before this part. You do not need to change the where clause, guys. Otherwise there is no benefit of using this. Otherwise it becomes same like if I just give A here. So what is the usage? Why I want to change the where clause? Without changing the where clause, I wanted to achieve the same. Understood, Prasad? So if you want to use status not equals to P, so if you want to use status example, anyways, I'll make a change here. So here, if you use not equals to P, right? So here, See here, obviously it will work out, no? If you make this change, this is equivalent to this. I am using an except to invert the selection. Or if you make a change in the where condition, obviously it will become similar to what I was doing here. Here this is allowed, you can change not equals to equals to. But the only problem is after that, that or is not allowed. Understood? Okay, now let me show you a scenario where we will club your reduce and filter operated together. Okay, so what I'm going to try to create is I'll build an internal table which will have a kind of a 3 purchase order numbers, okay, and another internal table which will have purchase order, line item, price and the company code. Now what I will need to do is I would like to build a final internal table which will have the purchase order, the company code and the total price. Understood the question? Is it clear? So let me start. So types begin off. What we'll do, first of all, ty underscore comp. So Evelyn type Evelyn comma Bucharest type Bucharest comma and any TWR type any TWR comma and then your end of ty underscore comp. Okay, now further here gtt, let me make it this one, gtt underscore comp type standard table of py underscore comp with default key. So let me make it tt underscore comp and another tt underscore header type standard table of this. I'll make it with ekko with default key, and last but not the least tt underscore item type standard table of ekpo with the, here the purchase order will be repeated, right? So it will be a non-unique key Evelyn and with unique sorted key. Your combination I'll give as components EBLN and EBLP. Done. Okay, now let me populate some values to lt underscore header equals to value operator tt underscore header and let me pass some values in Evelyn. EBLN equals to let me pass some random values. Okay, I'll copy this and create 2 more records. So now I'll make this to 8 and to 9. Or let me do one thing. This is EKKO, no? So let us navigate to EKKO. Let me do F8. So 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, 2, 7, 2, 8, 2, 9. Okay. Now LT header is created. Now let me build up LT item. Value TT underscore item, and here EBLN EBLP NetWeaver price. So EBLN for this one, five, then my NETWR, and Bucharest. Okay. Sorry, why I'm giving quotes to this one. So I'll create so for 2.7 I'll create line items as in 10, 20 and 30. For 2.8 I'll create the line items as 10 and 20, and sorry, for 2.8 I'll create only one line item, and for 2.9 let me create 4 line items. So for 2.7 3 for 1, and let me create, okay, so this now I'll make it line number as 20, and this I'll make the line number as 30, 10, 20, 30 and 40. The company code I'll make it change this to USA, whatever. I'm just giving a random values, nothing else. GB, okay, and now this I'll make it 2.8, this I'll make it 2.9, this I'll make it 2.9, and this I'll make it 2.9, and change in the price, so I'll make this as 200, 300, and this I'll make some random value as 600, this I'll make a random value as 25, 50, 75 and 100. Okay, so my data is done. Okay, now first of all I will first build the combination of, in LT comp I'll first pass ABLN and I'll pass the company code. So ABLN anyways I can get from any this. So these are my two tables. So what is the first concept that I can use to build up LT underscore internal table based on this line type TT underscore comp. So data LT underscore comp value TT underscore comp now here for ls underscore header in LT underscore header, okay, and then for ls underscore item in LT underscore item. Now can I write using key? We just understood that concept, right? So here also in the for expression also you can use using key. So using key what? Key underscore combi and a where condition. Where condition what? This abelian should match with this abelian, right? So where abelian equals to ls header abelian, and after that, what are the components that I'm going to pass? So the component that will be passing is abelian. So for abelian you can use pass the value from anywhere. You can use either ls header or ls item. So I'll use ls header, suppose ls header abelian. Then your company code you will use from ls item Bucharest, and done. So I will not pass any value to this netwr. Okay, and I now got the combination of this. Now sort, I will sort it based on my purchase order. And delete any duplicate data which I get any. So delete adjacent duplicates from lt underscore comp, then comparing EBLN. Okay. Now what is the next task? I need to get the data for this component netwr, right? So can I write loop at lt underscore comp, assigning field symbol fs comp and end loop, right? And within this, now what we are going to do is, now we are going to use the concept of reduce and filter. So for fs comp netwr, right? This is what you need. So what are you going to do? Can I write reduce operator, because I need to do summation? The type will be of what type? This will come from netwr type, right? So now here, what should I do? Init, right? Init, what init? So suppose let me use any variable lb underscore netwr, type netwr for ls underscore item in lt underscore item, right? Or ls underscore item in. Now for this ls underscore item in, now that I'm trying to do ls underscore item in, can I create a filter table? As in, I will filter this data lt underscore item, okay, using the key combination coming from where? Where coming from fs comp abelian. Can I do that? Yes or no? Can I write like this? Filter hash, okay, filter what? I need data from lt underscore item using key underscore combi where abelian, this abelian, okay, equals to, I'll match from what? fs comp abelian. Can I do this? Right? And once my filter table is done, can I write next what? lb underscore netwr equals to lb underscore netwr plus what? ls underscore item netwr. Now reduce operator done and period. Okay. Now let me just write cl underscore demo underscore output and lt underscore comp. So guys, what will be the output? So let me show you the output. Can you see the same? We just got the purchase order number, the respective company code, and the total price. Can you see here? So what did I do? First, I initially, apart from the net price, I got the ABAP, the purchase order, and the company code. How did I get it? With the for expression concept that we have studied already, right? But the only twist is I used using key because I had created this combination. So using key this, where ABAP equals to coming from this. So this will give me only the purchase order and the company code, yes or no, the matching purchase order and the respective company code, right? So I may have duplicate data, so I deleted the duplicate data. So if let's try to debug. So if I do an F8 now, so leave this part. So can you see if I do an F5, so LT comp, can you see duplicate data coming? And initially obviously NetWeaver will be 00, right? F5, F5. So now it comes to this. Now my part which I am left with is this, right? Yes or no? So now here what we try to do, for this NETWR, for this, here we try to assign this and using the concept of field symbol and then using reduce and filter operator. So I need to do a summation on this. So where summation? Whichever data you are seeing here, I need to do the summation for this or for this. How will I do? So I filtered this data on the basis of this purchase order, and for only that data I filtered and I got the summation value. So if you see here, filter for LS item in the filter table, because I am already in outside a loop. So inside loop I want to improve the performance. I do not want to go through all the iterations. That's why I applied the concept of filter here, so as to do the filtration only on the basis of that data, do the summation for which that particular purchase order is only applicable. So filter the data into this, where ABAP equals to this, and use the reduce to get the summation. Guys, is it clear? Guys, are you there? So guys, how did you like this? And by the way, why I did not club this here, because this is bound to give me duplicate records, right? While using for expression, you know that you are bound to get duplicate records. So better to remove the duplicate records, step 1, and then go with this approach to directly assign the field symbol rather than going through multiple iterations. So reduce duplicate records dependency, step number 1, and also do iterations as per what you need using this key concept, and then come here and then assign this value using the concept of reduce and filter. Harish, that group by, we will come to that concept, hold on. Don't think that group, see, for group by also multiple iterations will come into picture. We will use group by, hold on, group by will come into picture. I will discuss about group by clause also maybe tomorrow. So when you use group by also, there also this grouping will come. Only thing is that with that grouping, this reduce operator will come into picture. That will come into picture tomorrow. Hold on to your query. But if you remove group by, because group by I haven't yet covered that, right? So I cannot jump onto group by, right, Harish? So that's why we are going step by step. So whatever concepts we cover, we keep on pulling all the same till today. Whatever the concepts we cover till today, again we'll pull the concepts till tomorrow, so that we keep on clubbing and mixing everything. And this is what we talked about regarding filter. So data will be filtered from the data either from an internal table, filter table, or you can use a basic form as we talked about. And you cannot use or, you can use and only. And as we saw, if you want to invert the selection, use except before in operator. Okay. Okay, guys. Yeah, Srini, tell me.
Hi, Kabir. Quick question. Actually, I sent a small code can we just use move the internal table from one table to final table without the loop in that code? Actually, I just pasted the code here.
Begin of this.
The T characteristics, I want to move it to T final, but field 1, field 2, field 3 are same. The values are same. I want to have the field 4 into T final with one statement, not like this is working fine, but I don't want to put a loop.
So, but if you do not use a loop, for example, even in for expression also, if you want to assign values from multiple components, if you do not use for, how will the value come?
I just want to see like if I can move with a corresponding with one statement from T.
Okay, I understood your statement. So if you want to move from one structure to other structure, so yes, corresponding hash and all is there, which we'll discuss about, but that's more from a structure mapping point of view, like where you can map the components from one structure to the other structure, matching or non-matching components that you can handle there. And similarly, while building, since the data can be built from structure to internal tables, so you can club that concept. So we can try it out there, like depending on your scenario. Maybe I do not think tomorrow, maybe day after, in the next week, first class. So when we talk about corresponding hash, you can see if your scenario is being achievable through that concept, yes or no.
Okay, sure.
Okay, just hold on to that. So when we will discuss about corresponding, so you can see whether your scenario is fitting into that picture or not.
Okay, sure. Thanks, Kabir.
Okay. Okay then, thank you guys. So please work on assignment number 3. So I'm leaving you all 6 minutes early. So please work on the assignment 3. Just devote a few time to that. And also one quick hint is that the questions that we have given you there, some of them are related to your certification questions. So I hope now that is much more useful to you in case if someone is planning for certification also, as in when I talk about ABAP and HANA certification. So some good questions are there with that reference. So please work on that assignment so that we can discuss about it tomorrow during the initial few minutes of the at the beginning of the class. Okay, I'll stop the recording.